LD, go for launch.
And with that, we're on our way to liftoff just under 40 seconds from now.
T-minus 30 seconds. Fifteen seconds. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ignition, and liftoff of Starlink 435. Go Falcon 9.
Switching down range.
Stage 1 chamber pressures are nominal.
And with that, successful liftoff of our Starlink satellites and on our Falcon 9 vehicle.
Power engine telemetry nominal.
From Space Launch Complex 40, lifting off at 7:32 p.m. Eastern Time.
Falcon 9 is supersonic.
So with that call, we have Falcon 9 now traveling faster than the speed of sound. Seeing a great shot of the engines on the first stage.
XQ.
And that call out there indicating we are through the point of maximum aerodynamic pressure, the highest stresses that the vehicle will feel during ascent. Now coming up in about a minute, we'll have 3 events happening back to back. The first of those is main engine cutoff, where we'll shut down all 9 of the Merlin 1D engines on the first stage, followed by stage separation, and then second engine start on the second stage. And a great view of the first stage there. Now we're looking up at the second stage.
And Miko. Stage separation. Invac ignition.
Fantastic. So main engine cutoff, stage separation, and Merlin vacuum
Confirmed.
start. And there was fairing deploy as well. You can see those fairing halves on the left-hand side of your screen, as well as the grid fins on the first stage deploying. Now we will be attempting to recover both of those fairing halves. Seeing some periodic nitrogen gas bursts on our first stage as it's reorienting
On a normal trajectory.
for its next major activity, which will be the entry burn. On the right-hand side of your screen, we've got our Merlin vacuum engine continuing to burn as it's taking our 52 Starlink satellites to orbit. And you can see that its speed and altitude are fairly stable. It's arcing its way back to planet Earth to attempt a landing. You can see the sunlight reflecting off our first stage on the left-hand side of your screen. Its next major activity coming up, that'll be the start of its entry burn. to prepare it for atmospheric re-entry and slow down.
Stage 1 entry burn startup.
So for this burn, we are igniting 3 of the Merlin engines, which helps slow down the first stage.
Stage 1 entry burn shutdown.
As we start hitting the top. As we start hitting the top of the Earth's atmosphere. Now from here on, we've got enough atmospheric force where those grid fins that we saw deploy earlier will help guide the first stage towards our drone ship. Startup of just a single Merlin vacuum engine. We'll see landing leg deploy as well shortly. And also keep an ear out here for second stage engine
Stage
cutoff.
1 landing leg deploy. Pico. Stage 1 landing confirmed.
So with those 2 callouts and a great shot from the drone ship, we've got confirmation of our second stage in the nominal orbit. And our first stage, Falcon 9, has landed, marking the 143rd landing of an orbital class rocket. This marks our 43rd launch of 2022. And there were a couple of callouts there as well for nominal orbit insertion, so that means that the second stage is right where we want it to be, carrying those 52 Starlink satellites. So with all of those confirmations, we're going to wrap up our launch coverage